years of 2016 and 2020, David Dobrik was seemingly at the top of the YouTube ecosystem. What started as David just sort of goofing around and filming his friends as up-and-coming content creators quickly turned into partying all the time, collabing with huge celebrities, huge giveaways, and giant sponsorship deals. And if you didn't watch the vlogs around this time, you might think that David was like the biggest part of them, but it was actually more his friends doing the heavy lifting. David was always behind the camera, and sure, he would laugh a lot, and you'd hear him laugh. But I really feel like the reason people tuned in was sort of to live vicariously through David and experience the goofiness that was all of his friends. So while all of the vlogs were on David's channel and David was inevitably the most popular member of the vlog squad, I really feel like he owes most of his success to his friend group. But it was a fun time. I watched a lot of the vlogs back in the day and I really enjoyed them. It felt like you were a part of this friend group. And in a lot of ways, you were like the members of the vlog squad, because like the members of the vlog squad, you also were not getting paid for your appearances in the videos, which is something that I always found kind of weird. David's friends never got any sort of payment. Their only payment was in exposure. And so what kind of ended up happening was, because everybody else around David wanted to launch their careers off of David's vlogs, they all started vlogging too. But because they would always be hanging out together, all of their vlogs seemed to be just like the same situation from a bunch of different angles, and everybody was holding vlog cameras. Got pretty out of hand for a while there. Eventually though, during the pandemic, a bunch of stuff happened that caused David to take a step back from vlogging. Mainly a bunch of scary accusations about one of his best friends, Dom, and also him almost killing one of his other best friends, Jeff Wittick, by slamming him into the side of an excavator. After losing a bunch of followers and probably more importantly a bunch of sponsors, David posted an apology saying he was gonna do better. He said he was gonna take steps to make sure his vlogs were a safer environment for the people in them.
And I want to be able to have a place of checks and balances. I want to have HR.
If he had to choose between quitting vlogging or doing it safer with an HR team, he was gonna do that. And then he quit vlogging. Currently, David is still presumably very rich. The only place he really posts is on Snapchat, and from what I can tell, he mostly just goes around and tours really expensive houses and parties a lot. He doesn't seem to have any ambitions of creating more content on YouTube. In a lot of ways, he's sort of like the Great Gatsby of social media now. But without David sort of manning the ship that was the vlog squad, a lot of the other members basically had to figure out other avenues and other ways to make money and maintain their following after the vlog ended. Zane and Heath have a pretty successful podcast now, so does Jeff Wittick. Carly and Aaron, I believe, have a podcast too. But I feel like Jason Nash, out of the entire group, is having the most trouble adjusting to the post-vlog era. He has a podcast, but it's definitely not getting the same numbers that his podcast with David did, views, back in the day, which David also quit. Despite them, I think, getting a bunch of really great offers that would have changed Jason's life, David decided to quit because he didn't want to do that anymore. He wanted to be the Great Gatsby. So Jason has now been left to fend for himself, and it seems like TikTok gift streaming is what he has turned to.
You excited to go to dinner?
Man, this is content, baby. This is crazy. I didn't know all you had to do is just sit there and stare at your camera and people will just send you money. Why did I write this whole video? So a lot of the response has obviously been kind of cringing at this feeling that what he's doing now is very shady. And I mean, he's not really harming anybody, I guess. It does seem like it's mostly adults sending him money. Obviously, there's always going to be kids online stealing their parents' credit cards, so that's not great. I do get kind of a shady vibe from it just because there literally is no content for you to consume except to send him money. Like, the whole point of this stream is to see how much money Jason can make without having to do anything. That's like the point of the stream.
Melanie, thank you.
Let's go.
And you could argue that Twitch streaming has donations and, you know, a bunch of other live streaming does too. But I would argue that there's at least some content behind that. Someone's playing a video game or they're doing a podcast live and the donations are just a little bit extra on top. It's not the content itself. I've also seen a lot of people wondering, like, wait, isn't David super generous? During his vlogs, he was always giving away cars. He was paying for people's weddings, just like handing out PlayStations to people on the street. Surely he could just help Jason if he's struggling financially, right? Wrong. From some of Jason's podcast clips, it seems that that is definitely not the case. But before we get to that, I've got to make some money of my own. Alright guys, let's get those gifts in. James, thank you for the llama. Carol, thank you for the sombrero. Brian sent a Arab? Oh. Is this a gift on TikTok Live? Also, how did you get this one? This one's mine. Well, regardless, this is actually pretty convenient because this video is sponsored by Arab. Arab flavors your water using scent-based taste. And, oh, Brian also sent a scent pod? Oh, thanks, man. Okay, so I can put that on. With the scent pod down like so, it's just a normal water bottle. But when I activate the scent pod, air is able to pass through the scent pod and into your mouth, where you can taste the scent. Send me money. I like to bust out my air up while I'm getting work done. It gives my water a little bit more which is what I need when I'm trying to focus. This one right here is lime, and it is excellent. Someone said, come to Brazil. I'm busy. Air up is a unique hydrating experience. You can't get this anywhere else, buddy. No chemicals, no sweeteners added to the water, just plain old water into my plain old mouth. The scent pods come in a variety of flavors. I really like the lime and the peach. My editor, Jake, is really fond of cherry. So no matter what kind of flavors you like, there's bound to be a couple for you. If you want to spice up your hydration experience, click the link in the description, get yourself an Air Up, get yourself some scent pods, put your mouth on the nozzle, and suck away. You look really tired today. That is mean! Thank you to Air Up for sponsoring this video, and thank you to you guys for checking out Air Up. Now back to the video. About a month ago, when Jason was in the thick of his live streaming every day, he posted this podcast where he and a bunch of David's mutual friends talk about how different life is now that David's not vlogging anymore.
Like, the thing is, like, David's in this, like, moment in his life.
Yeah, where he can do anything.
Where he just parties.
Oh no, Jason. The look on your face, man. Jason's like, don't look bitter, don't look bitter, don't look bitter.
Where he can do anything.
Perfect. He can do whatever the fuck he wants now.
He calls me to play pool. And I'm like, I gotta go live, and I don't expect him to understand that.
You don't expect him to understand that you have to work to make money? You know he did that too, right? I wouldn't expect him to understand that, man. He hasn't had to work in, gosh, what is it, 2 years now? I hate to say it, Jason, I think he gets it. I just don't think he cares.
Like, I'll say things like, I'm losing my house, and he'll be like, oh, but just come play pool.
I just don't think he cares. Dude, Jason, haven't you learned anything from being friends with a popular YouTuber? You just told him you might lose your house, and he invites you over. You think he really wants to play pool? Dude, he's probably gonna Mr. Beast you. He's probably inviting you over so he can, like, surprise you with a new house. He might make you do Squid Games for it, but you have a chance to win a new house. Maybe he'll give you a new car. Or, you know, surprise you with his new car like he did that one time.
My surprise to you is that I'm buying myself a car.
I know.
That was cool. I will say it is interesting that David seemingly stopped doing the extravagant giveaways once he stopped doing the vlogs. I wonder what the correlation there is. That's kind of weird.
There was a great TikTok that he sent, which was like some guy. It's just the guy that has like a lot of money and can do anything all day. He's like, oh, Diplo's having a party tonight, and like and it's literally like things that David has said.
David sent Jason a TikTok of a rich, out of touch guy being like, oh my god, dude, this is so me. Dude, look at this TikTok. This is so me. That moment when you're rich and you're partying with Diplo and you're talking about how much you hate Jason Nash and how poor Jason Nash is. Guys, comment below if you found this relatable.
But if you think about it, though, from 18 to like what, 23, 24.
Oh, he was hitting it
he never drank. I don't think he ever drank. Even when we would visit him, we'd be up till like midnight just like watching the edits, just like,
wow, he worked hard for 5 years? Let the man party, dude. Please do not burden David's poor gentle soul with your financial woes. Just let the man play pool and play with him, for God's sake. I mean, look, I don't doubt that he worked hard. The dude posted 3 vlogs a week. I'm sure it was a lot of hard work, but you know who also worked hard? Everybody in his vlogs. I mean, that dude just said it himself. They all stayed up with him until midnight watching the edits to make sure they were good. This was a group endeavor. And I know what people say. They say like, well, David gave them the opportunities, you know? He didn't have to make them famous. Yeah, he kind of did. That was like the whole point of his vlogs, was his friends. David wasn't just making them famous because he was a good, generous guy. He was doing it because that's what was working. They made him famous as much as he made them famous.
Now it's like the complete opposite. Everyone's like working, and here's him just like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And it's like a Tuesday night. Everyone's working.
Yeah, man, that is kind of a crazy switch. Whereas before, David was working and everyone was helping him. Now everyone else is working, so naturally David is partying with Diplo. Naturally, a lot of the conversation around Jason's live streams